Hey guys, my name's Khadroth, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about Ordeal Call 1, aka Paper Moon. If you're unfamiliar with what that is, Ordeal Call is going to be the upcoming stretch of main story that NA will be going through for the next couple of years here. Now, the first one is going to be coming out very quickly here. We actually have a live stream for it here on the 18th. I will be covering that here live on Twitch as well as YouTube, so you guys can check me out for that as we react to it. There will be some special guests, including Ayako Kawasumi, the voice of Saber, and Kenji Akabane, the voice of Khadroth. So it's definitely going to be an interesting stream, but this is going to be the announcement and kind of premiere of Ordeal Call 1, aka Paper Moon. That should be coming out here on the 19th, basically the day after the live stream occurs. And I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a quick primer for it. This will actually be a pretty short video. I want you guys to understand we did this also for LB7. People really seem to like it. So I did want to kind of briefly talk to you guys about Ordeal Call 1 and as story spoiler light of a way as possible. I'm not going to mention anything to do with the actual events of the story, but I will again try to give you guys a little bit of a heads up, and I will talk about a little bit about hey, the fights that we're gonna kind of go through here without actually giving you guys much in the way of details. So to start off with, again, Ordeal Call 1, like I said, it's gonna be our next chapter of the main story. There's really not gonna be too much difficulty with it. I think, honest to God, I questioned whether or not to even make sort of a primer for you guys for this one, because part of the reason we did it for LV7 was due to the fact that there were some hurdles with the actual story that people were probably going to need some help getting through. And we felt the need to provide that in order to help you guys out. With this one, really honestly, we're kind of doing the same thing, but we don't really feel like it's actually that difficult of a story chapter. I'm going to be honest with you guys, as somebody that plays in the JP server, I have gone through Ordeal Call 1 through 4. Nothing in those battles really is more difficult than anything from, say, LB3-ish, I want to say, in terms of difficulty. So you guys are pretty much at that point where if you're already in Ordeal Call, you've probably already gone through some of the hardest fights in the game up till this point. There is going to be other content that they do for challenge, but I have noticed there has been a little bit of a shift from the devs away from putting a lot of the challenge content necessarily in the main story, and instead kind of sectioning that off into other things like actual challenge fights and one-offs and stuff like that. So you will see some of that through the Bleached Earth quest from time to time, but a lot of it I think is going to come from your events and other things, not necessarily from the main story chapter. And it's an interesting thing, kind of revisiting Paper Moon here on NA and just trying to think about it. I can be honest with you guys, and I can tell you guys that there was really only one fight in general that actually, I'm going to say, poses really much of any challenge. Most of the fights going forward are going to be pretty easy for most of your accounts. You should have relatively developed ones if you're in Ordeal Call. Again, you should have gotten through all of LB7, so you should have quite a bit of tools necessary to be able to deal with things. Now, I did get some questions as well relating to Ordeal Call that I figured I'd answer, and that was people were asking me, is there going to be a damage bonus or anything for this event? There is not. The main story chapter here, when it first comes out, is just going to kind of be as is. It's only really with Ordeal Call 2 and on that they start doing damage bonus and stuff in the actual story chapter, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Again, it's not so difficult that you would even need it, really. So it is what it is. There's also going to be another interesting mechanic here, and that's going to be the fact that there is an actual mystic code that you guys will be able to use during the main story. We didn't want to reveal anything about it other than the actual effects that it's going to have. So the mystic code itself is going to have 3 different effects. The first one being that it will increase one ally's attack by 30% for 1 turn, their damage by 20% for 1 turn, and their charge by 10%. So this mystic code has a little bit of everything already just kind of in that first skill. The second skill is going to be a stun and a defense down on an enemy for 1 turn, the defense down being 20%, and the third effect being order change. So in effect, the Mystic Code at play here is a really interesting one because it is just a souped up version of the original plug suit. That is to say, you still have stun, but you also get a defense down effect. You still have attack up, but you also get the Neo plug suit's NP damage up, and you get 10% charge on top of that, and you still get order change as your third skill, so you can still rotate the party. This is actually really interesting. When this came out, there were a lot of people asking like, hey, can this become an actual Mystic Code in the game? And up to and as of this point, they have not done that. I'm not going to say they will, but it would be really interesting to see if they did, because as you guys know, with the way things currently sit in the game, quite literally, we can 3-turn with every single unit in the game that can manage to get at least 10% charge somehow, some way in their kit. Because double Oberon is just one heck of a drug. It allows you to basically kind of combine them for even more charge and able to make more and more units 3-turn. So with that in mind, having 10% charge on a Mystic Code would absolutely enable that. So with this Mystic Code during this ordeal call, you can get away with some pretty interesting and hilarious things, because there are certain combinations of things that you would not be able to pull off otherwise prior to now that you can now do. If your unit was ever 10% short from doing anything in the game, you can now in theory do it with this Mystic Code. So my advice, have some fun with it. Go crazy, try to come up with some insane stuff and just blow stuff out of the water as long as you have it, because this Mystic Code is going to be a really fun one to use in that regard. You can definitely combine it with things like Black Grail and so on and whatnot in order to make more possibilities even more crazy for you. Now, next up, and this is the one thing I'm going to say, if you want no fight like revelations here, you can definitely end the video here, and it is what it is. But from this point on, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a little bit of the primer that we kind of set up here for Ordeal Call 1. So again, these are going to be your story fights. We're not going to tell you guys who they are, but we are just going to give you guys some classes and a little bit you guys can see both the section and the arrow to expect them in. So you'll now know if you're worried about this sort of thing, this is when these fights are going to occur. We also included things like recommendations, what the win condition is, as well as maybe some hints and stuff that can help you out along the way. This will relatively invalidate a lot of the fights if you follow this guide. So it's one of the reasons that I warned people is like, hey, you don't have to do anything in this regard. But we felt like it would be a good idea to do these videos going forward for anybody that is concerned and struggling with getting through the story. This sort of thing should help you out without ruining the story for you, like, you know, maybe would happen in other videos and stuff. So we thought this was kind of the best sort of in between to give you guys at least a leg up without having to force you guys to go to a wiki, or without having to force you guys to watch something that'll just tell you everything, like with regards to the story implications of each of the fights. So I thought this was a relatively good solution. Like I said, we did it for LB7. People seem to really like it, so we thought we'd go ahead and do it again here. And again, this is, like I said, not too difficult of one. Quite literally, the only fight that really even gave any sort of pause, any sort of challenge, was literally just the battle here in section 14. Those battles right there were honestly just like the only ones in the entire ordeal call that I can even remember off the top of my head, beyond, like, you know, having to make this primer. So it is what it is. But I'm going to tell you guys again, Ordeal Call 1, really not that difficult. Have some fun with it. Enjoy it. Enjoy the new story. And again, good luck with all of your farming afterwards, as we will be getting more free quests and again, more capability of clearing all of that stuff for even more courts. So enjoy. You're going to get more milestones done. You're going to get more seedlings for your blue apples and such. So definitely a fun time to be playing FGO NA. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will leave a link in the description to the spreadsheet here so that if you guys need it, you guys can rely on it. And again, let me know what you guys think about this type of video. If you like it, leave a comment below. If you don't like it, let me know what you would change. I'll be curious to hear you guys' thoughts, and I will see you guys for the next one. Hey, if you liked the video, make sure to like and subscribe, right?